What if I told you that every single night, while your body rests, your consciousness is embarking on incredible journeys, traveling to other dimensions, receiving messages from the universe, and even interacting with other beings? It sounds like science fiction, but the truth about what happens when you sleep is far stranger, and far more powerful, than most people realize. Stick around, because this will change how you view sleep, and reality, forever. We're diving deep tonight, exploring a mystery that has fascinated humanity for millennia: what really happens when we sleep. Your body rests, yes, but your consciousness? It travels. And your mind stays fully active. But where does it go? Few people know the answer, but over the centuries, spiritual traditions and, increasingly, scientific research have been shedding light on this mystery. What I'm about to reveal could change your perspective on sleep, and on the very nature of consciousness itself. If you've ever had a dream so real it felt like another life, share it in the comments below. These experiences can reveal a lot about the mysteries we're exploring. Sleep has always been a puzzle. Ancient cultures believed that when we sleep, the soul detaches and travels to other realms. In ancient Egypt, dreams were messages from the gods. In Greece, philosophers like Plato spoke of the soul accessing higher realities during rest. Today, we know that sleep is essential for brain function and memory. But there's something much deeper happening. During certain stages of sleep, brain activity behaves similarly to deep meditation states, and even near-death experiences, NDEs. Studies show that in this state, our perception of time and reality completely changes. But here's the thing: if consciousness were just a product of the brain, why do so many people report lucid experiences, spiritual encounters, and visions that defy logic during sleep? Are they just illusions? Or is something real happening? The answer may lie in a phenomenon few people know about: the journey of consciousness outside the physical body. The detachment from the physical body is a fascinating process that happens every night, but few truly realize what's going on. When you sleep, your body enters a deep state, your brain frequency slows down, and your perception of the physical world dissolves. But does that mean your consciousness shuts off? The answer is no. While your body rests, your mind remains active, operating on levels that science is still struggling to understand. During sleep, we go through different stages, and it's in the REM, rapid eye movement, state that the most vivid dreams and intriguing experiences happen. But there's something beyond that. Research from the Monroe Institute and scientists like Dr. Charles Tart suggest that in this state, consciousness can literally detach from the physical body and access other dimensions of reality. This phenomenon is known as astral projection or out-of-body experience, OBE. But why don't most people notice this? The explanation may lie in how we've been conditioned to view reality. From a young age, we're taught that what can't be measured or touched doesn't exist. However, those who've experienced OBEs report an indescribable sense of freedom, an expanded perception of the universe, and even the ability to visit places they've never been. There are documented accounts of people who, upon entering this state, were able to describe events and locations far from where their physical bodies were. One of the most well-known cases is that of researcher Robert Monroe, who dedicated his life to studying the projection of consciousness and wrote books detailing his experiences in non-physical realms. And there's one crucial detail: your emotional and mental state before going to sleep can directly influence where your consciousness goes during sleep. If you fall asleep feeling worried or fearful, you might access denser levels of the dream experience. On the other hand, if you sleep with a clear intention and a high vibration, you may open yourself up to spiritual experiences and profound teachings. So, next time you're about to sleep, try something different. Before closing your eyes, set a clear intention. Tell yourself, I want to remember what my consciousness experiences tonight. This simple practice can open doors to surprising discoveries. Few people know this, but the time before you go to sleep is an opportunity to program your subconscious mind. Your brain enters a state, known as hypnagogic phase. Geniuses in history used this time to gain insights. How can you use this? Before you sleep, tell your brain exactly what you want. For example, say, "I want to wake up feeling refreshed, may my mind find new ideas for my professional life," or "help me solve this problem while I sleep." These suggestions work directly on your subconscious, which works tirelessly as you sleep to find answers. You can combine this technique with spiritual experiences. Repeat phrases like, "Tonight I will be conscious in the astral world." Have you ever tried making suggestions before you sleep? Let me know if it worked for you. Share it in the comments below. Where exactly does your consciousness go? The answer depends on several factors, such as your level of perception, your emotional state, and your intention. Some people report intensely vivid dreams, others experience lucid dreams, where they're aware they're dreaming, and some describe the sensation of floating outside their body, observing the world from a different perspective. Curiously, similar experiences have been described by mystics, Buddhist monks, and even by people who have gone through near-death experiences, NDEs. Many claim that when leaving the body, they can access places that defy three-dimensional logic. Some talk about cities of light, others report encounters with spiritual guides, and some describe dimensions where time and space operate differently. But how can you tell if your consciousness is truly traveling, or if it's just a regular dream? There are intriguing pieces of evidence. Accounts of people who, after an OBE, could accurately describe details of places they had never been physically are a strong indication that something real is happening. Additionally, quantum physics suggests that consciousness may not be restricted to the brain. Neurosurgeon Dr. Eben Alexander, after undergoing a deep NDE, stated that his experience on the other side was more real than his waking life. This leads to the question, do we access parallel realities during sleep, higher dimensions, or just fragments of our own mind? The answer might lie in dreams. Many of them are not mere creations of the brain, but rather records of our journeys through the cosmos. Dreams have always been a mystery, studied by different cultures and spiritual traditions. Freud saw them as expressions of the unconscious, revealing repressed desires. Carl Jung saw them as a portal to the collective unconscious, where universal symbols and archetypes manifest to guide our personal journey. Many people report dreams that feel like true out-of-body experiences, encounters with spiritual entities, or glimpses of the future. These lucid dreams are those in which the person realizes they are dreaming and, in some cases, can consciously interact with the environment. Spiritual traditions suggest that during sleep, our consciousness may travel through different planes of existence. In shamanism, for example, dreams are seen as spiritual journeys where the soul can receive teachings. Some Buddhist traditions teach that dreams can be used as training for death, helping the soul navigate spiritual realms after leaving the body. And there's something even more surprising. Some people report having had the same dream as a friend or family member on the same night. How is this possible? Could it be an indication that our consciousness can actually interact with others while we sleep? This happens because, during sleep, our consciousness isn't isolated. It can connect to a larger field of information. Quantum physics suggests that everything in the universe is interconnected through the unified field, a deep level of reality where the separation between individual minds disappears. If thoughts and emotions have specific frequencies, it's possible that two people can tune into the same frequency while they sleep, accessing the same dreamscapes. Additionally, the collective unconscious, a concept proposed by Carl Jung, suggests that we share a vast reservoir of symbols, memories, and archetypes. This would explain why people around the world report similar dreams, even without ever having met. In deep sleep states, our minds can access this universal database, allowing shared dreams to happen. There are also accounts of joint spiritual experiences, where two or more people claim to have interacted in the same dream environment and, upon waking, describe identical details. This suggests that while we sleep, we can access subtle dimensions where our consciousness is no longer limited by the physical body. But not all dreams are random or mere repetitions of the day. There are those that carry important messages, signs from the universe, and even premonitions. Many people have reported dreaming about something that later happened in reality. This happens because, in the sleep state, our minds are not restricted by the rules of physical reality. In the waking world, we're stuck in a linear timeline, past, present, future. But when we dream, our consciousness can operate in a reality where time is malleable, accessing information beyond common perception. Physicist John Wheeler, for example, proposed that the past can be influenced by the future in quantum mechanics experiments. If this happens on a subatomic level, could it be that our minds, when disconnected from the constraints of the body, can also access information about what's yet to come? Many scientists and researchers have investigated so-called precognitive dreams. One famous case is that of Abraham Lincoln, who dreamed of his own death days before being assassinated. Another well-documented example is of people who dreamed about disasters before they happened, like the Titanic sinking or the 9/11 attacks. Carl Jung called this phenomenon synchronicity, suggesting that there are connections between events that can't be explained by mere chance. If time works differently in the realm of consciousness, then it's possible that when we dream, we are accessing subtle patterns of what's to come, a kind of memory of the future. But how can we differentiate a regular dream from a precognitive dream? The key lies in the intensity and clarity. Precognitive dreams tend to be very vivid, with specific details and a strong sense of reality. Many people report waking up with a deep feeling that what they saw wasn't just a dream. If this is true, it means that while we sleep, we have the ability to connect to something greater, a universal consciousness where all possibilities already exist. There are different types of dreams, and each carries a specific meaning. Symbolic dreams express messages from the subconscious through metaphors and images, e.g., dreaming of a house representing your emotional state. Precognitive dreams contain glimpses of the future, accessing information beyond linear time. Lucid dreams, you realize you're dreaming and can consciously interact. Spiritual dreams may involve encounters with guides, divine messages, or out-of-body experiences. But how can we properly interpret our dreams? The key lies in attention and intention. If you want to remember and understand your dreams, start practicing dream journaling. Write down everything you remember as soon as you wake up. Often, patterns and messages emerge over time. The astral plane and its different dimensions are one of the most intriguing aspects of sleep. The concept of the astral plane is widely studied in esoteric schools. According to these traditions, the astral is an intermediate level of existence where thoughts and emotions take form. It's a highly malleable dimension, where reality can shift according to the vibration and intention of the consciousness accessing it. Accounts from people who have had out-of-body experiences during sleep often describe different layers of this plane. Some are bright and peaceful, full of learning and encounters with benevolent beings. Others are chaotic and dense, reflecting states of fear, anxiety, and confusion. This proves that the frequency of our vibration before sleep can directly influence the type of astral experience we'll have. Many spiritual researchers classify these dimensions into 3 levels. Lower astral plane, related to dense energies and manifestations of fear, guilt, and emotional imbalance. Middle astral plane, the most commonly accessed during sleep. Here, conventional dreams occur, and interactions with projections from the subconscious take place. Higher astral plane, associated with elevated states of consciousness, where encounters with spiritual mentors, learning, and experiences of profound mental expansion occur. Studies on astral projection report that while sleeping, some people access these planes spontaneously, while others can consciously train to access them through techniques like lucid dreaming induction or mindfulness practices before sleep. Spiritual encounters during sleep are one of the most mysterious and transformative experiences. Many people report meeting light beings, spiritual mentors, deceased loved ones, and even living people. But is this just a creation of the mind, or are we actually interacting with other consciousnesses? The answer may lie in the nature of the astral plane. As we've seen, this dimension is highly malleable and responds directly to our intentions and vibrational frequencies. If, during sleep, our consciousness partially frees itself from physical limitations, it wouldn't be impossible for real spiritual encounters to happen. Many reports indicate that these encounters happen spontaneously, but they can also be intentional. People who have lost loved ones often dream about them vividly, feeling a real presence and receiving messages that, upon waking, make sense and bring comfort. For some, this may be a psychological mechanism for grief, but there are impressive cases where messages and unknown details are revealed, suggesting the experience was real. Another common type of spiritual encounter involves learning sessions. Some esoteric traditions claim that while we sleep, we can be taken to actual spiritual schools where we receive teachings about evolution, consciousness, and the universe. There are accounts of people who, upon waking, remember concepts and information they had never studied, but when they research, they discover that these are deep teachings found in sacred texts or ancient traditions. But how can we have more control over these encounters? As we've mentioned, tell yourself clearly, tonight, I want to meet my spiritual guide and remember this experience when I wake up. Have your notebook by your bed, wake up, and write everything down. Nightmares are one of the most intriguing phenomena of sleep, and their origin goes far beyond simple stress. Often, they serve as symbolic messages from the unconscious, emotional alerts, or even experiences in denser dimensions of astral reality. But why do they happen, and can we control them? Studies in neuroscience show that the brain continues processing emotions while we sleep, organizing memories and trying to make sense of what we feel. The threat simulation theory suggests that nightmares are a natural brain mechanism to prepare us for real-life challenges. But on a deeper level, this may also mean that we are tuning into vibrational realities that match our inner state. Nightmares mostly occur during the REM phase, when the brain is highly active. Psychologists like Freud believed nightmares were repressed expressions of fears and traumas. Carl Jung saw them as the manifestation of deep archetypes. Studies show that people who undergo traumatic events tend to have more nightmares. But not all nightmares have a direct psychological cause. Some seem to emerge from mysterious sources. If nightmares are a reflection of the emotional and energetic state before sleep, then we can take steps to avoid negative experiences and transform sleep into a time of learning and expansion. Some techniques include energy cleansing before sleep. Practices like burning sage or visualizing light help create a protected environment. Mental reprogramming, replacing negative thoughts before bed with affirmations like, "I sleep in peace and protection," can change your experience. Avoid heavy foods and stimulants. Alcohol, caffeine, and heavy meals can interfere with sleep quality. Write down and interpret nightmares. Often, they carry valuable messages from the subconscious. Develop awareness in dreams. Lucid dreaming. Learning to recognize when you're dreaming allows you to face the nightmare and even transform it. Although most people want to avoid nightmares, some spiritual traditions teach that they can be opportunities for learning. If a nightmare is recurring, it might be trying to teach you something. In some astral projection schools, practitioners train to stay calm within a nightmare and face it consciously. Often, they discover that the monster is actually a repressed part of themselves asking to be integrated. If we can understand and reinterpret nightmares, we can transform fear into self-knowledge. Why do we forget our dreams? Most people forget because, upon waking, the brain shifts focus to physical reality. During sleep, especially REM, the brain operates differently, accessing memories and creating symbolic narratives. When we wake, the rational mind takes over and discards this information. Another reason is the lack of dream memory training. Like any skill, remembering dreams can be developed. Keeping a notebook by your bed and writing down everything you remember immediately upon waking helps strengthen dream memory. Even if it's just fragments at first, over time, details become clearer. Not moving immediately upon waking can also help, as the first few seconds are crucial. Remaining still and trying to reconstruct the images can make a difference. Reduce stimuli before bed. Excess screen time can hinder dream retention. The dangers and challenges of the dream world are often overlooked. While sleep can be rewarding, there are also obstacles. From recurring nightmares to encounters with unknown entities, it's essential to understand these challenges to navigate safely. Sleep paralysis is a frightening phenomenon. It occurs when a person partially wakes up but can't move, feeling a pressure on the chest and, in some cases, perceiving dark presences. Scientifically, it happens when the brain wakes before the body, keeping muscles locked. However, some spiritual traditions suggest this state can occur when consciousness suddenly returns from an astral experience, causing a momentary perception of parallel dimensions. If you experience this, stay calm, focus on your breathing, try to move your fingers, and remember it's temporary. Many people use this state as a portal for conscious experiences, turning sleep paralysis into an opportunity for astral projection. Another challenge is encounters with unknown entities. Some people report dreaming of beings that seem more than just creations of the mind. These entities can be friendly, neutral, or disturbing. Many experts believe these figures are symbolic manifestations of the mind, reflecting repressed parts of the psyche. Some spiritual traditions claim that we can interact with consciousnesses that inhabit subtle dimensions. Intense emotions can create energy forms that temporarily take shape in dreams. The golden rule in these encounters is not to give in to fear. Fear can strengthen the presence of these entities. If you feel you're in a negative environment, practice energy protection techniques before sleep, like visualizing a light field. Another issue is excessive activity in dreams. When consciousness becomes too active, some people wake up mentally exhausted. This can happen when there's a lot of emotional processing going on, or when there are many intense experiences during the night. To balance this, it's important to develop techniques for grounding energy upon waking. Practices like drinking a glass of water, walking barefoot on the earth, or taking a bath help reconnect you to your physical body. If you want to navigate the dream world safely, here are 2 practices that will help. Create a ritual before sleep. Meditation, prayer, or visualizing light can help protect your energy before entering the dream state. Avoid negative content before sleep. Horror movies, violent news, and arguments can influence your dreams. Sleep is much more than just rest. It's a gateway to hidden dimensions of consciousness, a laboratory of the unconscious, and a powerful tool for spiritual evolution. Everything we experience while we sleep, from the most trivial dreams to the most intense astral projections, carries valuable messages about our mind, our energy, and our life's purpose. Now you know that your emotional state directly influences your nightly experiences, that it's possible to program your mind to receive answers, and that even nightmares can be learning opportunities. Through techniques like dream journaling, lucid dreaming induction, and energy preparation before sleep, you can transform sleep into a period of consciousness expansion and self-discovery. If there's one thing that's clear, it's that you're never just out cold during the night. Your consciousness is active, exploring, learning, and connecting. So, what about you? Have you ever had any inexplicable experiences during sleep, lucid dreams, spiritual encounters, or sensations of leaving your body? Share your experiences in the comments below, because your story could help others better understand this invisible universe. And if you'd like a video diving deeper into one of the topics mentioned here, leave your suggestion as well. If you're ready to take your understanding of consciousness and manifestation to the next level, I invite you to explore more resources and connect with a community of like-minded individuals. And of course, if you found this video insightful, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone who you think might benefit from exploring the mysteries of sleep and the power of the mind. Your journey of discovery is just beginning. I also encourage you to take part in the 21-day Quantum Thinking Challenge. Check the first pinned comment to join.